Hello, everybody, and welcome to Confetti Conversations. Welcome back to another podcast. Here we are again. Hayley's just adjusting.
I've realised I probably look like a giant box, but
No, you don't. You look nice. You look very tonal.
I'm blending into your sofa.
You're very much in my wedding colours here.
I am, yeah.
These are two, like, the sagey, the dark sage. Well, this is more olive, isn't it? Your trousers. By the way, Hayley's wearing green, for those of you listening. Olive green and sage green. So she's very tonal with my wedding. But yes. Here we go.
Checking if I got any peach on, but I haven't.
Oh, damn it.
Let down.
No peach there. I won't dress in your wedding colours, don't worry. We don't want to give those away.
Top secret.
Top secret until after the wedding. Anyway, roll the intro.
Hello and welcome to Confetti Conversations,
the podcast where me and my sister talk all things weddings, wedding planning and married life.
Okay, so here we are, another podcast. We today are going to be talking about DIY decorations.
Yes.
So decorations as a whole is a massive, massive topic. So we will split it up. But we just wanted to talk about DIYing your decorations and like little bits that we've done, hints and tips, things that we've done that we've DIY'd. And different ways you can DIY. DIY doesn't necessarily mean handcrafting every single tiny thing.
Yeah.
It can just be DIY, where you make it and get it printed, or you send it off to someone to curate.
Yeah.
Basically, we're doing DIY as in the fact that we are doing or have done all of our own decorations, all of our own signage, all of our own wedding stationery.
We've not hired anything.
No, we've gone to no styling companies. We've not hired anything. We've literally bought every single item that is going to be at our weddings.
Yeah.
So I think let's just start with why we decided to DIY. For me, DIY was a no-brainer. I was always going to DIY my wedding. Like, even down to the tiniest details, I knew that I was going to DIY everything. Yeah. Because that was, for me, like the pride of having all that stuff in there that I'd made just made me, I was so pleased with it all. And Dad even said it in his speech, and he actually teared up at this bit, which is very cute. He said something like something about me working hard on the wedding, and a testament to that is what's here in the room today.
Yeah.
And that, like, and then he goes, "What's here in the room today?" And I was like, and he's crying, bless him. But like, for me, the pride that was noticed.
Yeah.
And Mom was telling everybody what we'd made and all that kind of stuff. Just having that feeling of, I've done all of this.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, Sam helped a little bit. You did bits, Mom did bits.
A lot,
yeah, because Mom had just retired when I was getting married, and I was working at home. So I would prep stuff the night before, and whilst I was working, Mum would come over and do all the bits that I needed her to do.
Yeah, you did really well, the two of you, actually.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I'm going to do that.
Well, you can almost do the same.
I know, but it was nice that you got to sit with Mum and do it.
Well, then we just make sure that the weekends that we have, or the days off that you have and we have together, we just make sure that those are full. Like, we can do full day. I never did a full day of wedding crafting. Yeah,
and I'm sure we can do that. Want to join in.
Yeah, all your bridesmaids are going to want to do it. So you've got, like, obviously my bridesmaids would have wanted to do it as well, and I definitely,
too many of us.
Yeah, but everyone offered. Everyone offered, and I could have asked all of you to do something. Yeah, but I just did it. Just me and Mom just didn't. I think that's partly because I'm a control freak.
No.
And
no, she's not.
Like, some of my friends are so crafty and so amazing, and I know that they would have done an incredible job.
I would have needed strict instructions and precise measurements.
Yeah.
And like more than IKEA instructions to be able to do it.
Well, yeah, the thing is a lot of my wedding lived in my head, and I think that's part of being the DIY. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't really put it out anywhere. It was like, trust me, it's going to work.
Yeah, no, whereas for me, I need the image to be able to copy.
A lot of it, I did do that, and I took bits from different places. Like, I made coffee table books, for example, which are in my lounge, and they have the first day, the yes day, the best day, and then Sam and Phillipa, and they look like books.
Yeah.
And I absolutely loved them, and they were so easy to do. And I'll tell you all about them,
Yeah.
but they were so easy to do. I just bought hardback books from a charity shop. Doesn't
All the
matter
same
what they
size,
were.
aren't they?
They're all the same size. I wish they were all different sizes.
Mm.
But they're all the same size, and some, like, I would like them a little bit larger than they are. They're just normal
Yeah.
hardback book
They
size.
look cool.
Yeah, they're really cool. And I basically PVA glued round the outside where the pages were so that people wouldn't put, because they're just random books.
Yeah.
But and then I think I must have done something to the spine, because if there was any writing on the, or made sure that they didn't have writing on the spine or something. And then I just primed them with white paint. I don't even know if I did prime them, actually. But either way, I painted them, and then I made decals from my Cricut machine and like did like a spine on them basically. And I just had a little seating area at the wedding that I put them on, and they just look great.
And then, okay, so let's go round and we'll start with the seating area because we're already there.
Okay.
And the other bits you did in the seating area.
So in the seating area,
So Phil's wedding was a marquee wedding, by the way.
it was
So it was in one corner.
yeah.
So it had 2 sofas, didn't it?
Yeah, so they already had 2 sofas,
Yeah.
which actually was something that Dad had mentioned to me about.
Yeah.
So random, I know we're talking about venues now, but sofas, Dad had said, I think you should have somewhere that's comfortable for people to sit in the evening.
Mhm.
So actually, that wasn't a thing that I thought about until he'd mentioned it. And then when I look back at photos of my venue, I was like, oh, great, there are some sofas.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I had a little coffee table there. And I had a sign on that said, if you don't feel like dancing. And then next to that was a pack, like a box full of card games, basically. And I made brown paper boxes. Like, this is extra, but I had the time to do it. Brown paper boxes for each of the games so that they all were uniform. And then I did, I again printed decals on those.
Yeah.
It's totally unnecessary, but it brought me lots of joy. So
Yeah.
and I had
Have
the
you still
time.
got all of them, by the way?
Yeah,
Are they still in the paper?
yeah.
Just keep them in a box and we'll
But
do
what we
them
can
in
do for
October.
you is we can print you using your signage and
Yeah.
stick it over the top of the stickers that I used, so it'll fit within your theme.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I kind of did there. I did a little sign, and I had a little tiny flower arrangement there. I also, in all of my displays, I had glass candlesticks. I had, which had tapered candles in them. I had white pillar candlesticks, all of different sizes, all of different designs. Some of those had to get spray painted white. Some of them I bought from like IKEA, charity shops, and some of them weren't the right colour. And then I had gold lanterns, which were all different sizes, all different makes, and I wanted them to be gold, so I spray painted them all gold. So there's another kind of DIY thing that I did, is doing all of that. So all of my displays had a little bit of that in it, and they all had crates, wooden apple crates. So the coffee table essentially was a wooden apple crate. Then we had the sweet cart.
Before there, you had these blankets.
Oh yeah, I had. I bought some blankets and pillows and dressed that area because I just wanted it to be in keeping. They were just white leather style
like
sofas.
leather sofas.
Yeah, and they would just they were fine and they did the job, but I wanted to dress them up. So I bought some cushion covers and I bought some blankets. I had one green, one orange, and mostly I think they were green or white pillowcases.
Yeah.
And I just put those on there, and it just jazzed it up a little bit, didn't it?
But it was all stuff that you knew you were going to use them again for the house.
Yes.
Because you hadn't got your house at that point, had you?
No.
So it was all stuff that, yes, it's for the wedding initially,
Yeah.
but it's all going to be for the house. So it's not wasted.
Yeah, so like the cost of the blanket, for example, is written off in my eyes.
It was a house purchase.
It was a house purchase. I was going to buy it anyway. It sits on my sofa every day, and the other one sits on my coffee table. So, it was always going to be a purchase. So yeah, that was the seating area. I think that's everything.
Yeah.
And then I had a sweet table.
The guest table. Guest book was next.
Oh yeah, the
I'm
guest.
going round in the clock.
Yeah, the guest book was next. The guest book I bought just puzzle pieces off Amazon, and everyone signed a puzzle piece.
Wooden ones.
It wasn't the best ever. Like if you want to do it, definitely do it.
It needed to be in a more, because it was in the corner that you wouldn't necessarily go into.
100%.
It needed to be more of an entrance, didn't it?
It did, but there wasn't room at the entrance for it.
It was the right place for it to go, but it meant like there was me and Ellis going around with jigsaw pieces trying to make sure enough people had signed it.
Yeah. And the pens weren't amazing. They were very small.
Yeah, definitely
people,
test that out beforehand.
Yeah, people were trying to write long messages. Like it wasn't really what I envisioned, but I wasn't bothered necessarily about a guest book personally. It wasn't like a big thing for me. It was kind of an afterthought.
On my guest book, I think I might just have a guest book.
Yeah.
Because people, like family, want to write messages in,
Yeah,
don't they?
yeah.
Whereas the one I actually want, I'm going to make sure it's clear. Write your name, like sign your name.
Yeah.
That's what that one's meant to be.
Yeah. That's a good idea. But yeah, so that was kind of a little bit of an afterthought, really, and it just again had lanterns and candlesticks
Signage,
I made a sign for that.
We've got photos of all Phil's decor that we took the day before, haven't we?
Yeah, and the photographer went round and took them all.
Yeah, so I'll get those.
I'll have to get them off my laptop. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll post them on Friday.
Yeah.
Well, when it comes out.
Yeah. Today. Yeah. So that was that, and then we did a sweet cart, which was just really cheap. I bought cheap little sweet containers. I think they were from eBay. And then I made a sign which was like, life is sweet, take a treat.
Yeah.
And
sweet carts always slap at a wedding.
Well,
because
yeah.
everyone wants a sweet treat.
Yeah.
You had your basket of crisps as well.
That was a genius idea.
I'm 100% doing that.
It was and it wasn't even difficult. We literally went to Tesco, I think, and bought like loads of, it might have even been Aldi. I think it was Aldi actually. Loads of multi-packs of crisps and just filled a crate full of them.
Yeah.
And like some people ended up taking like 10 packets home because there was so many left. But when you're like, you've eaten but you still want something.
Yeah.
Or just before
my thing is, I don't want my guests to be hungry. And if they're eating a packet of crisps and having a glass of Prosecco, don't care.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I wouldn't want anyone to be hungry. So it was again an afterthought. I think we literally did it the day before.
Yeah, we ended up getting the sweets like the day before.
Yeah.
We knew we were doing it, we just never got them.
No, absolutely. And it was like a space thing as well. Like there was no space for anything. So, but yeah, so I had a little crisp area. The sweet cart and the guest book were kind of simple. They had elements to them because I'd made sure that I'd done all the elements, but they weren't like the most important thing.
Yeah, like the idea I've got from the sweet cart, because obviously Phil has all this stuff.
Yeah.
There's no point me buying it again.
No.
It's wasteful. But I want to dress them slightly differently. Everyone will know these were from Phil's wedding. I used them at the engagement party.
Yeah.
Like the sweet jars.
Yeah, but it doesn't
sweet
matter.
jars are sweet jars.
Yeah, exactly.
Like don't try and change the wheel.
No, and it's like things like apple crates. So many people use apple crates at their wedding. I have them. If you want them, you can use them. If you don't, you don't have to.
It really depends on the space, to be fair. Because there's a lot of, I don't know that I need to fill corners, whereas a marquee is such a blank canvas, which is what you wanted. Whereas I needed something more dressed.
And I think
I'll be dressing a few tables.
Yeah, you could have been in danger if I'd have gone to a venue that had, brick walls or, more decor. It could have been in danger of looking crowded, cluttered, over the top.
Yeah, and that's again a worry for me in October, that if we don't have any weather for people to just even be outside for a little bit, that a lot of people in a small space is going to feel a lot.
Yeah, and I think, that's why for me, I wanted the marquee, I wanted the openness, and then being able to dress it and bring it in with the stuff that I had and made.
But that's, where your creative brain comes into it, whereas I know this is where this is going, this is where this is going, and in complete honesty, because I know it already, it's nearly almost done.
Yeah. Absolutely, but mine was, I knew what I wanted. It was just finessing.
Yeah.
It was things like
zhuzhing.
I built arches. I made flower arches, and I had them up in my flat for months.
You could drive, because you could see into Phil's flat from like the road.
Yeah.
So you'd drive past, and you could just see the flower arches.
There's 4 of them
in her lounge.
4 flower arches, 3 ceiling hoops, and 1 hoop that went behind the cake.
But they would look really good. So the one flower arch was behind your top table, wasn't it?
Yeah, so there was one behind the top table with we're going back that way. Don't worry,
okay.
We'll get to it. We're on to the first.
Circle back.
Yeah, we're on to, so I had a hoop behind the cake, behind the cake
table.
Cake table. It was only like a hula hoop. It wasn't very big. And I got all of the garlands from Shein. I got 2 of each style. So one was just greenery and one was white flowers. And I just twisted them round. And you could still see the underneath, but it was white, so it didn't matter. Bearing in mind they weren't white when I bought them. I had to masking tape them all to make them white. So that was another thing I did. But it's the little things, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so that I did that with all of them. And they were all exactly the same. They all had the same flowers on them.
Yeah.
They all matched, but there was a lot of them. So there was that one. And then after the cake table, you had the dance floor area. So the dance floor area had glow sticks, flip-flops. That was it. Glow sticks and flip-flops. And it had a sign that I just got, you know, like those massive letter signs. I just had little ones, but they looked really good.
They were fine.
And there was a really small said the, and then a little bit bigger said Hagues, and that was just on the floor.
Yeah.
And I glued them onto a plank of wood.
Yeah.
And I still have them, and I think I'll put them somewhere.
Yeah.
And so that was, you know, a little bit by the dance floor, and I had a mirror, a small mirror that said, "I bet that you look good on the dance floor," and then some signage for the glow sticks and for the flip-flops.
Yeah.
So all of my signage was gold vinyl on see-through signage. So they didn't all match, but the big signs did match. Then there was like the odd little sign here and there. But I did them all. I laid them all out, and then Mom actually did put them out, most of them. But yeah, I designed all the signage, and then we stuck them all on, so everything matched. Everything was gold. And yeah, it all went together. So that was like by the dance floor. In the toilets, I just had 2 signs that said like "help yourselves, ladies," or "gentlemen, help yourselves."
Yeah.
With bathroom baskets. They're basic, but
they're so basic, but they do get used.
Oh yeah,
it's a long day for people with a clutch bag or a suit jacket.
Oh yeah,
like put the emergency stuff in there.
Yeah.
Girls are wearing dresses that aren't that comfortable. They might have zips broken.
Well, I
shoes.
literally used it.
Yeah.
Because I put plasters on my belly and a sanitary towel across my belly
where the
boning of my dress was hurting me after the whole day of wearing it. Like by the time we got to the evening, it was starting to hurt a bit. But as soon as I put that on, I felt like a new woman.
Pro tip.
But they're useful. Like having that stuff is really useful, and just make sure it's stuff that you'll use.
Yeah, again, it's not wasteful because it will just come home with you and you'll use it over the next 6 months.
Absolutely,
it's fine.
Yeah, like it's useful stuff, so it's just worth. I think it's worth it.
I think so.
But there was a hoop, actually, a full hoop on the dance floor area.
Yeah.
So that was the dance floor, and then there was a hoop, an arch that went over the door.
The entrance.
Yeah, and by that. The one side of it was a little 3-tiered laddery thing, I guess, that had blankets on them that says to have and to hold in case you get cold. And then the other side of that was like the welcome. It wasn't the welcome sign. It was a table plan with a big display with it, really. A ladder, lots of crates. Yeah, pictures that said our love story.
Yeah.
That was all there.
Yeah.
So that had all of that on it. Again, with the lanterns, the pillar candles, it all was very cohesive. It all went together. There was lots of little arrangements, and it all just sort of matched and went together. Yeah. So that was your entrance with the table plan, which was just on white card with wax seals at the top of them.
On a mirror.
Yeah. And it just said at the top of the mirror, "We saved you a seat." And then the next table was the gift table, I believe.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, and that had on it IKEA. Everyone had it at the time.
Yeah.
IKEA did this terrarium, which
like a glass
was
box.
Yeah, a glass box. It's for growing like succulents in.
Yeah.
And that had on it cards, and then there was another little one that had I can't remember what they're down behind me. What does it say? Oh, no. The bigger one says The Hagues, established 2023, and the little one just has a P and an S on it.
They're cute.
And they were just together with another crate and another couple of bits, and that was like the card table.
Yeah.
And then in the furthest corner was another full circle hoop, and in front of that was a 3-tier ladder thing. And that had my mom and dad, Sam's mom and dad, both sets of my grandparents, both sets of his grandparents' wedding photos on them. And it says Generations of Love. And it was everybody loved that.
Everyone loved it, having a little nose, didn't they?
And everyone was laughing at Sam's dad because he had a moustache on his wedding day. And it was so funny. They were all laughing at him, but it was so sweet. But it was just such a lovely thing to do.
Yeah.
And for me, I have those photos and they're going to go on my gallery wall on my landing. On my stairs. But I just really wanted to have that,
Yeah, we want the same.
Yeah, like carrying those things on and bringing their weddings into our wedding.
Yeah.
And it just felt really personal. So, yeah, that was a lovely thing to do. And I would recommend doing that if you can. And then the top table was another big arch.
Yeah.
We had a long table decoration in front of us and 2 at the end with a couple of like candles. None of the candles got lit because we couldn't light any candles. And Hayley was like, you're not lighting your candles. And I was like, no, I know I can't light my candles. She was like,
after the collecting we had done of candles and going on and on about getting candlestick holders and all the other bits, all the lanterns, not one single one could be lit.
No, but I knew that.
We can have candles.
Yeah, I knew that. Well, it's a marquee. When you walk, the floor moves. Like, of course you can't have candles. Like, I knew that and I was okay with it. But everyone was like, why are you not lighting
Also, it was
candles?
a May wedding, so we didn't notice until 9-10 o'clock anyway.
Yeah, and you wouldn't do it there. Like, you wouldn't have lit them. So, yeah, it was fine. But, and then above the top table was I'd made a neon sign that says 5 ever and always, because 5 ever is longer than 4 ever. And me and Sam say it all the time. Everyone was asking us, what's 5 ever? I was like, 5 ever is longer than 4 ever. I was like sick of saying it by the end of the day. But like I said to Sam, like, oh, should I do that? And he was like, but that's what we say. And that makes sense to us. It just makes it more
personal. It was the right thing.
Yeah.
And everyone who knew already knew anyway.
Yeah. And it's now above our bed.
Yeah.
And it was just such a lovely like addition. I loved making my neon sign. It was so much fun and really quite simple to do.
That's next on my list.
Yeah. I think I filmed some parts of it, so I might be able to get I don't think I filmed all of it, but I might be able to get some bits together and maybe I can do a bit of a walkthrough of how I did it.
Yeah.
I'm sure I can make another one, a smaller one, to sort of go through it. Oh, I can make yours, yeah. But it's a really simple and cost-effective way, but it's so effective.
Yeah, you can spend a lot of money on them. I've established myself by looking.
Yeah.
And I know how I want mine to look, and to do that is going to be hard, whereas Phil could just make it.
Yeah, it's a style. It's not like the clear ones, and the you can get brighter lights, but I didn't know how to do that, so I did it the way that I'd seen, and it worked for me. But yeah, it depends on your style.
Yeah,
if you like, I love it, but it's not to everyone's taste.
Well, it's still a neon sign.
Yeah,
it's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and then our normal tables.
Yes, so the normal tables, I reused my bridesmaids bouquets because I had 9 bridesmaids, 9 tables.
Mm-hmm.
So my venue were amazing. They came and grabbed the bouquets off the bridesmaids and put them on the tables for me. And it worked so well, and it was so much cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
And my bouquet,
if you want a proper big decoration in it, like, they weren't huge, but substantial. If you're not going to just use bud vases.
Yeah. But for me, I knew that was something I wanted to do, and I loved it. And then my bouquet went in a vase. It went on the gift table.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like, I knew that I needed something to go on that table. I didn't have anything, so that's what I did there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I made menus. I made advice cards.
Gift packs for the kids.
Activity packs for the kids. We made the table runners.
Mm-hmm.
That was a hack from TikTok. There were IKEA curtains that we cut up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we made a lot. But we loved doing it.
Yeah.
And I had such a good time doing it. The last thing that we made was, I did have a welcome sign as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in the drinks reception. And that was just like a mirror with welcome to the wedding of Phillipa and Sam on it. Again, with crates, all of that kind of stuff, a couple of pictures. So yeah. And then I made hoops that went on the roof with fairy lights in them.
Mm-hmm.
And I made sure they had remote controls so that they could be turned on later on. so that they weren't on all day in case the batteries ran out.
Which the venue did.
Yeah. And the venue were amazing and did everything, they helped so much. But yeah.
Really good venue for a DIY bride.
Really good venue for a DIY bride. And I was really lucky that I got to go in the day before and do it all myself.
Yeah.
And I would have been fine because I'd prepped for that emergency.
We would have had enough time to go and do it ourselves, and it probably would have made your morning a little bit more like you were waiting around a lot.
Yeah.
But then, I don't know.
But then we were up so early.
You would have wanted to zhuzh everything.
Yeah, and it did take us a good few hours to do it.
Yeah, but we were not setting it all out, I mean, but
just doing bits.
Fluffing.
Yeah. Yeah, I was grateful that we could do it the night before, but we would have made it work.
Yeah, of course
we would have made it work. And I, probably about 2 months before my wedding, got everything out and made the displays in my tiny little lounge in the flat. And made sure that I'd got everything that I needed and that I'd split everything evenly. So it was like, I need 3 lanterns for this, so I'm going to use these 3 lanterns so that there's not, 2 of the same on one display.
Yeah, did you start putting it into like individual boxes?
And then I put it all into boxes with a label on top.
Yeah, I've started getting to the point, I know it's like ages away, where I need to kind of start putting stuff in the right place.
Yeah.
So my brain knows what I need to add, or if I need to add anything.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a lot of time for that.
Yeah.
I did it a couple of months before, and I had lists of what I wanted. So I'd had a list of, for this display I want this, for that display I want this amount of stuff, for this I want this, and I sort of collected stuff, and I was like, okay, I need 20 lanterns, and then I'd got 20 lanterns. But I'd got time in case I needed to buy some more. So I gave myself enough time to make up things, but it got to a point where I was like, I've bought enough now. I'm sure I'll just make it work at this point.
Yeah.
And I think the problem is with doing stuff like that now, when you've got like 9 months or 8 months to go, is that you're then like, oh, that's done now. And you like put it all away and you're done on that, tick.
Yeah.
But then you might see something and go, oh.
Yeah, they do say that, don't they? Don't do it too soon.
Yeah.
Because your style might change, or you might see something, because at the end of wedding season.
Yeah.
I might see something that someone else has done that I've not thought of.
Yeah.
Be like, oh.
Yeah. I would just keep slowly collecting. My advice as a DIY bride is slowly collect, start early, slowly collect, and sort of curate as you're going.
Yeah. Vinted is amazing.
There's
so many Facebook groups of like Vinted bride, Vinted weddings, secondhand weddings, all that kind of stuff, where people literally sell their whole wedding after their wedding.
Yeah, Vinted, Facebook Marketplace, charity shops, all of that. You can find so much stuff.
Yeah.
Like, people are always selling their stuff. I've sold a lot of my stuff, which sometimes I regret, but I need the space. Like, you can't hang on to everything.
For the sake of it, yeah.
But like, part of me is like, I wish I'd never sold it, because I had such an emotional attachment to every single item.
You're the same as Mom in that sense, whereas I'm like, it's an object.
For me, it was like the love and the care and the hard work that's gone into it all.
Yeah, for sure.
It was like, I just don't want to get rid of it, but I knew that somebody else would have an amazing wedding using my stuff.
Yeah.
So like, I could sell it on, and I actually know for a fact the person I sold mine on to has sold it on again.
So they've already had their wedding and it's done?
Yeah, so the bouquets moving on to wedding number 3.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so like, sustainability wise,
it's good.
It's amazing. But then half of me is like, I should have started a styling company. Do I want to start a styling company? No, I don't think
you could have 2 styling themes and that's it.
Yeah, well,
mine and yours.
Yeah, but that's fine for now, and then I could just build it up over time.
Yeah. That's the thing. So people often say like, oh, don't get sheen faux flowers, don't do that, it's not the right thing to do. However, wedding flowers that from a florist last up to a week.
Yeah.
The display's less because it's harder to dismantle.
Yeah.
Whereas your fake flowers, you can reuse, you can repurpose, you can sell.
Well, my bouquet has been sat behind us for well, obviously since I got married, so nearly 2 years,
Mhm.
I have had my bouquet. I've got my top table arrangement in here. I've got one of my other arrangements. I know I've got a smaller arrangement behind me. You've got one. Mom's got one.
Mhm.
My mother-in-law's got one. Like, I knew that everybody could have a bit of the wedding.
Yeah.
And that, for me, because I wanted to do my own flowers, I knew that I would love to have had fresh flowers, but I knew that I couldn't have made those arrangements the week before my wedding
No.
or the week of my wedding. Like, all my arrangements were done months and months in advance.
Well, my bouquets are done.
Yeah.
I've got 2 table arrangements done.
Yeah.
And all my bed vases.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I've done loads.
Yeah. But it's something that you can sit and do. You are a lot faster at me. You like things done. Tick, done.
Yeah, no, the quality of mine is not going to be the same as Philippa's.
No, they're really good. You've done really well on them. Don't be like that about them. But for me, it was like a labour of love. Because I'm crafty and creative and I love that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was something that I wanted to enjoy the process of.
Yeah. Well, that's just in all over though.
Yeah.
You and Mom do things correctly, methodically, perfectionist.
Not always, but sometimes.
Majority of the time, yeah. Me and Dad, there's a route from A to B.
Yeah.
Let's just get it done.
But they're good. You made them yourself and you're happy with them.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all that
I
matters.
need more flowers. I need more.
Yeah. But I didn't spend a lot of money on my flowers at all in the grand scheme of things.
Do you know how much you actually spent on flowers?
I think I spent around £300, and that was for 9 big arrangements, 9 small arrangements, 1 long top table, 9 bridesmaids, my bouquet, a flower girl, 6 buttonholes,
Mhm.
the hoops for the ceiling,
Mhm.
the hoop for the cake, and then the 4 arches.
Yeah, see, I can tell that flowers, even the Sheen flowers, are more expensive than when you bought them.
Yeah.
Because I want to say I'm already at about 250.
Yeah.
And I haven't done anywhere near as much as that.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. I mean, I rate the Sheen flowers.
Everyone does. I've not heard anyone say a bad thing.
No. And I know, okay, Sheen isn't the most ethical and, you know, there are question marks behind it. However, the result of what I made for the money that I did it, worth it.
And like you say,
and it is
it's not
actually
being
sustainable.
unsustainable.
Yeah.
You've resold them or reused them and repurposed them around your home. So
Yeah.
that issue that people have with Sheen, it isn't a thing
In
weddings.
In this respect, it's not fast fashion. I know it's not fashion, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not buy, dispose of.
Yeah.
I wanted to make my wedding as sustainable as I can.
Yeah.
So I bought second hand. I went to the charity shops. I repurposed things in my house afterwards. I sold things on. Like, that was always the deal with my wedding, is that you can spend the money and you can have the stuff you want, but you have to repurpose, sell it on.
Don't hoard it. Don't just shove it in a corner.
I do have a lot of gold candlesticks sat in one of my cupboards, but they are so beautiful. I really struggle to get rid of them because they are really nice gold candlesticks, and I feel like they will be useful at some point in my life. So I'm going to keep those ones.
Or for my wedding.
Or for your wedding. And a lot of glass. I haven't sold any of the glass ones either because they're beautiful as well. So, and the white ones, the white pillar candlesticks. I've sold the stuff that I know I won't use again. Like, I won't use the arrangements again. I won't use the signage again.
Yeah.
Like, I've sold all the stuff that I know I won't use again.
Yeah, we went through the stuff that I might use and you again.
Yeah.
So you sold the other stuff.
I think actually the vases are still in your garage because you were going to use my vases.
Good luck to you. They're in our garage.
Why?
You know what Ellis is like about his garage?
If he's got rid of any of my stuff.
No, he hasn't, but he just stares at it every so often.
I know, he stares at it and then he looks at all. Basically, I don't have a garage, so I use my sister's garage as a bit of storage. Yes, I need to get it out of there, but I don't have anywhere to put it currently. And Ellis is like, oh, all of your wedding stuff is such a mess and it's cluttering up my garage. And then you turn the other way and look at all of his stuff.
I had, before Philippa got married and before Ellis moved in, my garage had one table in the corner, didn't it?
Yeah, we used it as a gym for a while during COVID.
That all that was in there, that one table and my gardening drawers.
Yeah.
And my lawnmower.
Well, you're a single person in that house now. It's basically I use it as garage too. So
yeah, sharing. Should charge rent.
I'll get rid of it one day. Not get rid of it because it's all stuff I want.
Move it.
But can't be here because this house is not big enough for them.
Mm-hmm.
Or like the vases, for example, they'll be sold after your wedding if you don't use them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just kind of really talking about my wedding. This is nice, isn't it? We never talk about my wedding. We always talk about Hayley's wedding.
I think it's quite nice actually.
I'm joking.
It's about planning my wedding.
No, well, the podcast is about weddings. We've had this argument. I have to cut it out every time because we have this argument. No, right. Anyway. Yeah, so like I said, one of my goals for my wedding was making it sustainable.
Yeah.
And I think that I did tick because things have been sold, things have been bought secondhand. Yeah, it was a big aim for me to make it sustainable. And I think having that in your mind when you're sort of going into this, for me, made it feel like it was fun hunting for all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it was fun thinking, oh, I need this. Like, let's go. One day, I think I went away with my friends and we went into every charity shop I think we were in Aberystwyth in Wales, went into every charity shop. And that's where I got my Harry Potter books to do my confetti. Yeah. Like, it was little things like that. And I loved doing all the stuff with my Cricut. I loved just the creativity of it. And I think that's something that I'm missing now that I'm not
write you a list
planning a wedding. Yeah. Is I'm missing that creativity of sort of every day I had something creative to do.
Yeah. Yeah. It is really nice.
And it's just a lovely time, like that lead up and the planning and the fun of it all. Like it is just a lovely time, and it's something that you've done a lot of, you're in the middle of, you're going to do more of.
I think what I am missing is obviously when you finished work, you generally stepped straight into wedding.
Yeah.
Whereas I've got that hour commute.
Yeah.
And when you work from home, less so back then, but you do now, you go to the gym before. In the time it takes me to go from the yard to work, you can do your gym stuff. So you get home and you would be able to crack straight on with the fun stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas I've got that extra time, which I find mentally, I'm like, well, I haven't got any time now because it's winter and it's dark.
Yeah.
When it starts getting lighter, I know I will be so much better with it.
Also, like you said before, you have done so much, and like you're at the point now where you want to start putting areas together.
Yeah, I think I forget I've got that far. So when I did my ankle, I just put it all together, didn't I? I couldn't move for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, like for me, I had the time, so I spread it out. If you don't have the time, yes, I have the luxury of working from home, so that means that the second that my laptop is put down, I'm done for the day. And like, when I clock off, I don't have a commute, and my evening starts from the second I shut my laptop, whereas I don't have to, like you drive for an hour. So I had that luxury of time. I also had that luxury that I could be at home with mom doing the bits and bobs that we could do.
It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, and it was lovely, but that's not, that's something that was individual to me and to my wedding. And for you, it's the community of doing it, and the weekends of doing it togetger, and that being your priority. It doesn't need to be your priority right now, does it? Really,
I think
DIYing.
As well, I want to enjoy DIYing. I am not a creative person.
No.
So I want to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think I know what I need to do next. It's things like kidnapping the Cricut so I can try and learn how to do stuff. And getting a decent printer, or at least just ink for my printer to be able to just, when I want to get stuff done, I can sit in the spare room and do it. Yeah,
I think for me, having that printer was... Yeah, I bought a special... Well, it's not a special printer, it's just a laser printer, but I bought a laser printer because I wanted, to be able to just do stuff as and when I wanted to, and when I had an hour, I'd just click print and let everything print for an hour. Like, and that was sort of something, then I knew that I'd have this amount of stuff to cut with a guillotine and, do this or do that. So having a really good printer, if you're a DIY bride, is a top tip, in my opinion.
Glue gun.
A glue gun. Yeah, definitely a glue gun.
I own a mini glue gun.
Yeah.
And it is painful whenever I try and create something.
Yeah.
Honestly, I just have to laugh at myself.
Yeah.
I think I've bought myself a proper one now, actually.
Yeah. My glue gun's broken, actually. I need to buy a new. Well, it's not broken, it still works, but the little rubber bit on the end comes off, so then you just end up with just like a boiling hot metal end that you just have to be really careful with. But my glue gun's broken, so it's not completely broken, but it's just a little bit dangerous. But I had it for years. Nan bought it me for Christmas once, so it
was like a table present, wasn't it, or like a stocking present or something like that?
I can't remember, but yeah, it was she bought it me for Christmas, so
cute,
love it. But I think you don't have to have lots of knowledge. You don't have to have lots of equipment. You just need to give it a go.
Mm-hmm.
And accept that some things will work and some things won't work. But most importantly, trying to enjoy the process of DIYing. Like, DIYing is not for everybody, and you don't have to DIY it. There are amazing companies out there that you can either buy or hire from.
Yep.
That will create the exact look that you want for your wedding. Like, DIYing is not something you have to do. This is just our experience of wedding planning. It has been a very DIY experience for us, which I've loved, for both of us.
Yeah.
But it's been a real DIY experience. But yeah, it doesn't have to be that way at all. It can be whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. And I think enjoy it however you're going to enjoy it. You might DIY some things and you might buy others.
Yeah.
You might DIY some decorations but buy your invitations and signage or hire, or vice versa.
Yeah.
You might do one DIY. That still makes you a DIY bride in my book.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, and I agree with you.
The other thing, sorry to interrupt, don't be pressured by the DIY brides of TikTok.
Oh gosh, no. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody's judging you on what your DIY things are.
If you're not a DIYer like them, they are incredible, but you don't need to be them.
No, absolutely not. And there's some things that I thought, God, this is going to look so good. And then I finished it and I was like, maybe not. So definitely don't feel the pressure to make everything perfect. I love mishmash and lots of different textures and colours and all that kind of stuff. So I wasn't precious over whether like woods matched or whites matched or golds matched.
Yeah.
I was happy for everything to be a little bit higgledy-piggledy.
Not the clean girl aesthetic.
No, but that's not me. I am very much a rustic.
Eclectic.
Yeah, that's, vintage, like all that kind of stuff is very me. And I think I really leaned into that in the wedding. And as I have leaned into that in my house decor, like that's what I am. And I'll never be, clean girl as much as I love it. And I think that, those clean girl weddings are so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It just was never going to be my style.
No.
And I think leaning into what suits you and your partner's personality is what makes a wedding amazing.
Absolutely.
And the stuff is just stuff. And you can do it on a budget. You can do it in a really expensive way. I said I'm a DIY bride, but not on a budget, because yes, there's things that I did save on, but I did splurge on a couple of things as well.
Yeah.
And I wasn't worried about it being too expensive, because I wanted it to be the feel that I wanted, and I knew that I'd get money back from selling it. Well,
there's one way you got money back. We went to go and get one mirror, didn't we?
Yeah.
And it turned out it was from my friend's parents.
Yeah.
We went to go and get it. We got the cash to give them.
She refused
it. But it was my best friend's mom. It was just coincidence. You messaged like, is this Karen and Richard?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, she can have it. It's for a wedding. She can have it.
Yeah.
We took the money that they put it on Facebook Marketplace. We put it in the house. Karen ran out to the car and put it in the back seat of the car or something, didn't she?
Yeah. Yeah.
But so that's one way you can save money.
Yeah.
Friends and family.
But beg, borrow and steal as well.
Yeah.
If say for example you've got a friend or family member that's got a beautiful mirror or a beautiful something that you really want.
Yeah.
A lot of people will be like, yeah, sure, have it for your wedding. Like, how cool is that you've had
something of mine,
something of mine at your wedding? And I think if you want to DIY your wedding, give it a go. get your stuff from Pinterest, Instagram. There's loads of different places. TikTok. There's loads of hacks, loads of things you can do. But don't feel the pressure that every single little tiny thing has to be DIY.
No, and when you also put all your people in the room as well, it doesn't have to be full of stuff.
No,
the people are what's important.
I think 100%. It's about the people. If none of my stuff had been there, the day would have gone exactly the same. It just enhanced the feeling that I wanted and created the atmosphere that I wanted. But if it wasn't there, wouldn't have mattered.
Wouldn't made a difference, no.
Would not have mattered at all. But yeah, enjoy the process. And if you are DIYing, just enjoy it if you can. It can be stressful. Be
organised.
Definitely be organised. That if you're a DIY bride, be organised, because there could come a day where you're like, oh gosh, I need to do everything. And you're like, oh my gosh, I don't have time to finish it.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely be organised. That's one of the biggest tips.
Yeah, amazing.
So that's a bit of a long-winded chat about my wedding DIYs. Decorations is a massive topic, and I think there's loads more that we can talk about. But this is sort of where I've been with DIYing. We'll definitely talk more about it after Hayley's wedding, so we can talk about all the different bits and bobs that you've also done.
Yeah.
But I think there's definitely more to talk about in terms of decorations, different companies, styling, what people offer, what you can hire, what you can buy. Like there's so much out there that you can do. So we'll definitely talk about decorations in another way, if you like. But this was just my experience of DIYing and all the things that I did to make my DIY wedding. So I think that's it for this one.
Yeah.
So for now, I'm Philippa.
I'm Hayley.
This was Confetti Conversations, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.